All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. We'd love you to support this show. Please like, follow, and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Your likes and subscription helps us to grow and attract interviews and content. So please retweet and share our posts. Your contributions are appreciated. Welcome to episode 476 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, admin on the cesspool. That's what it feels like today. I'm in one of those moods. That's like the 18th time in the last 2 hours that I've said cesspool. Got Andy, who's back. Nice to see you, Andy.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually been on the KissFAQ one.
I know, and it's 2 years, the 2-year anniversary when I was out in New England doing the final research for the Aerosmith book, dragging your ass around to Upton, Hopedale, Town Hall, Anchorage, Bar and Grill up in Sunapee, the Barn. Where else did we get? We went all over the place. You didn't come up to Vermont with me, but had a great time. So, 2 years ago, seems like a long time ago. So.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. It's kind of weird, though. And I'll say it again. Everybody knows me. I'm not a big Aerosmith fan, but I'll tell you that when we went on that travel, man, there's so many Aerosmith spots and places that are still around. Which I even thought, you saw me too. I was like, wow, it's kind of interesting seeing so many of the Aerosmith spots still around. But when I've gone to like New York and all that stuff, a lot of the Kiss spots, like per se, a lot of them are gone. They're banks now, bank parking lot, or just abandoned buildings that have been torn down or whatever.
Yeah, so, I went to site of show number 1, number 2, number 3. You were with me for the site of number 2 and number 3, and then the first one that Brad played, all still there. Also joining us today, our 69th Blizzard, the voice of reason, Ken.
Hello.
And not enveloped in smoke in Canada today, Marcus Almighty. Mark.
Greetings. How are you?
All right, gentlemen. Any purchases this week? Yeah, I bought Kiss stuff this week. Guess what arrived? I'm really excited because I missed this. I did not go out for Record Store Day. I got the Eric Carr Rockology. Is it Rockology? Yeah, it's Rockology CD with the bonus tracks, which I already have all of them, but I didn't have this.
Nice.
So I was very happy. I had to order it from Discogs in Canada. But you know what? That's what happens. Only 500 copies. And that's my other purchase. It finally arrived for me, and I immediately put it up in my online store. The Alive 3.
Alive 3 picture?
I'm already selling it.
Well, I only grabbed it so that a gouger wouldn't get it. Yeah, I've got a markup on mine, but I'm not gouging. I'm not going super stupid on it. But yeah, I decided after ordering it that, number 1, the t-shirt doesn't fit, and number 2, our topic of the show today is about Feel Like Letting Go. And it's not going to be me singing the praises of Peter Criss's Out of Control album. It is actually about when a decision comes to you to start downsizing your collection or your life or whatever. And, if there have been periods in your time or in your life that you have actually started pruning out your collection or gotten rid of everything at any point. And also, I guess, because Andy, you've been actively downsizing, because I've been wanting to get going with the KissFAQ live auctions, but every night it seems, Andy's doing another auction, Andy's doing an auction, Andy's doing a live auction. You have been busy. Have you spent any of your life away from the post office?
No, actually, I think we've done about, I've done them on my page, and then I did them on the Luddy page, which is vinyl something, the couple from the UK. And so me and Kim, I'm like, I didn't want to go to a post office like 500 times. So we did like 5 or 6 in a row and kept everybody's stuff. And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. And then we did another 5 or 6 in a row, and then another 5 and 6 in a row. And then I'm like, holy smoly. I didn't realize there's so much. And then everybody's like, when can I get my stuff? And I'm like, then I turned the camera around. We're like, look, the floor is loaded. You guys are going to have to give us some time. Then, of course, you got to find boxes and all that other good stuff. And, I'm not shipping anything. I'm sorry. Even though we might be, aka what you call downsizing, I'm not just going to throw the stuff in a box and just like ready to get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Even though we're letting stuff go, I still have this thing about, oh my God, where is it going? Who is it going to? And what are they going to do with it? I'm hoping most of the people that have already got our stuff actually keep it and show. Some people have shown us, they've posted. I'm hoping some people don't go back on eBay or another.
Your starting prices and the winning price, people are gonna flip that stuff, because I'm sitting there watching some of your auctions and I'm like, Andy, you're starting that at $2. I'm like shaking the camera and I'm just like refraining from saying anything. Like, that's a steal, people, because I don't want to turn into Julian Shill.
Some other people have said that. Some people have sent me PMs. I've had people send me private message saying they would just come here and wipe me out. I'll buy everything, and I'm like, no,
Andy,
that ain't gonna. Huh?
I got a question for you, Andy. When you go to the post office, do you ever get the look? Do you ever get the look of death from the people in the lineup? They're like, oh, this fucking guy again with 900 boxes, and I gotta wait here for a half an hour.
No, actually, they know I've been, because I did this a couple of years ago when I had some medical issues, and I really had to let some stuff go because I had medical issues that my insurance was only covered so much, and I had some pretty big damn bills, man, and I had to let some stuff go, and I let something go I really didn't want to let go, but I knew I would make some, a decent amount of money, and I was actually crying when I let it go. I was actually sitting there because it was only the first two something. I don't want to even mention what it is because I don't want somebody else to get upset either, but I was literally crying when I was letting it go because, it was just the way it is. But they're used to me now at the post office because it's not that far away from me. And what I do is basically go to the car, pull the stuff out. They have a corner for me, and I just stack it up. And then I let everybody else go in front of me. And then they usually have one or two people, or if they have a third person, they know I'm there. And then they turn around, they designate one person for me. And I'll have 50, 60 packages of boxes, and that's how I do it. So they're cool with me, and I'm kosher with them. It works out well. So, but yeah, sometimes the people, when I start bringing in stuff in the morning, first thing in the morning, the people behind me, Mark, are going, you got to be kidding. I kept going back, running back and forth. They're like, oh, what the? And I just let everybody go in front of me,
Yeah, I mean, Mark must have a deep and meaningful relationship with his post office as well, with shipping out CDs, and you also, ship out a lot of your own LPs. So I certainly have as well, and they used to see me coming, and they just point around back, and they'd wheel up a big bin and say, put them in here. Especially when I was shipping 60 or 70 books at a time back in the day. So you learn how to not piss off the customers, because I get offended because I print out all the postage and everything ready just to drop off before I ever get near the post office. So I'm not going to be having them, scan them and do all that crap. I've done it all electronically beforehand. So I don't feel I should have to wait, because I've gone to the, so they better have someone ready for me to dump, because otherwise why am I doing online postage and saving them time?
Yeah, exactly. I've gotten that. I've went in, even just last week when I was sending out a whole whack of CDs. There's this one Jamaican fellow that I know there that comes into the lineup, and he saw me come in there, and he saw me go in front of him, and he goes, "Oh, fuck this guy again, man!" He's like, and I look back at him and I go, "Dude, I won't be that long. I only have 10 packages." I'm just joking with you, man. He was cool, but he did it loud so I could hear him, because we see each other numerous times.
He's just razzing you for fun.
Yeah. What
about you, Ken? I mean, are you just a buyer, or do you ever sell?
I have to quit. Yeah, I have to quit up, whatever it is. Then they're not downsizing, but upsizing. I gotta stop that first, I think. But yeah, I thought of there's things that I have packed away. I'm not getting any joy out of them or anything, because they're just kind of hidden away. And there's certain things like, oh yeah, these old Kiss necklaces or whatever. I could probably sell those. Do I really need to keep those? And maybe, a bunch of belt buckles I have and things like that, they're not quite as important as other things. I don't think I'd sell my, original Kiss trash can.
Or your guitar.
First or anything, or my guitar and stuff like that. Those things are kind of special. I had since the beginning, when I first got into Kiss. So, yeah, there's things I start thinking about. It's I'm just thinking about it, pulling the trigger on some stuff, kind of starting slowly, and build up and see how it goes.
Yeah,
it's a process. too. It's weird. I have to agree with Ken. I mean, literally, look, I'm gonna just show this quick. When I start letting go of stuff, right? I start looking at it. I look at it right away, like fast. I do the fast thing now. I look at it and go, no, like I could dump it, and then other stuff I say, like, no way. Now, like, look at this shirt. I know Julian's gonna. This is my original, like, a Kiss Asylum T-shirt.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. I mean, that thing is so grayed out.
It can't be sold. It's been to a Wasp concert, clearly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But that's the thing. This I will save. And most people would turn around and then thrown this away, like 20 years ago. And probably had thrown this away and saying that's just junk. But to me, this isn't junk. This is something
sentimental value. You can't put a price on.
That's part of the journey on the special stuff. Like Ken and I, right, Ken? We can brag that we went to see Creatures of the Night tour. We have the ticket stubs. We have the T-shirts, right? You know, the 2 million people that said they went to the Creatures of the Night tour, but didn't actually go.
Yeah, no, sentimental value is the driver, and I don't remember, I showed it on one of the episodes over the last couple of weeks, me getting that Singaporean Peter Criss Out of Control cassette. That is something that I downsized 20-something years ago, and I regretted it ever since, and I wanted those tapes back in my collection, and I put down a $500 bid on that because I wasn't gonna miss it. Thank God it didn't go any. No, that's how deep the sentimentality is to me on a couple of items that I have let go from my collection. But, you know, Andy's mentioned, you know, medical for downsizing previously. Mark, have you ever downsized your collection? And what were kind of the driving factors that led you to make that decision? Because you have social medicine up north.
Yes, I down, and this is one of the great regrets, and one of the reasons why I started collecting vinyl again when I started picking up steam again, back in like the end of 1990s, like I guess it was like 1998 or so. I had a lot of stuff at that time, if you can believe it. I had like original Alive. I had the original, Injustice for All on vinyl. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I had a ton of Metallica, I had singles and Iron Maiden 12-inch singles, originals, and all this. I had tons of shit. But I was pushing my band at the time. Okay, I had this band called Reckon with One, and we were doing really good. We were being looked at by a couple of record labels, here and there. And one guy, he was an author in a big known magazine, Unrestrained, and they also wrote for Brave Words Bloody Knuckles magazine here in Canada. It's a big magazine, metal mag. And his name was Adrian Bromley. God rest your soul, Adrian. He died a while back, but he was a good friend, and he really helped push us, and he wrote articles and reviews about our stuff, and he actually helped us get our very first record deal. He went to this record label guy in Quebec and said, "You got to check this band out." He busted his balls to check out our band, and he did, and he liked it, and we got signed, and we released 2 albums on this record label, and it really helped us a lot to get out there. And as a thank you to him, because I knew that he was a big collector of vinyl at the time, he had a big collection even then, I gave him like 85% of my vinyl collection as a thank you to him, because at the time I wasn't even listening to it. I mean, I was getting stuff here and there, but my record player wasn't working. So, and I was big on CDs too at the time, and I never thought that this stuff would come back around again. Stupidly, me thinking that, and I just gave it all to him. And there's a picture I have somewhere. I wish I could have found it, of me like actually holding some of the Iron Maiden 12-inch singles and 45s, picture sleeves, everything, and to this guy in his apartment, and giving it to him with me and my bandmates. And when I see that picture, I almost cry, because I'm like, fuck, man, why did I give him that album? Like a few of them, I was like, why did I give that up? Such a stupid move. But and the thing is too, after he passed away, I had no idea what happened with all that stuff. So I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to go and get it off of him again, but it would have been interesting to see if they ever did like any kind of like an estate sale, because that's pretty popular after people pass, that people do that, right? But yeah, that was. I'm kind of sad that I did it, because there's a lot of stuff in there that I wish I would have had now still, but at the time I was fully committed to doing it, because it was a big thing for us, for our band at that time.
Yeah. It's pretty weird, the things, it's always, for me, been more about the hunt and the kill than the trophy. So a lot of the things that I've collected over the years have just gone into boxes or stacks, and they serve no purpose. They're space fillers. And once that space is filled, it's like, well, what the hell do I do now? And that's what I ran into with my Kiss singles. They were my love and my passion. I mean, I had 400 and something, I think 480 different 7-inch singles, including some incredibly rare ones, but also missing some incredibly rare ones that I just could not get on my hands on to complete the set. So, like with coins, if there's that one round blank in a coin album, and that coin is unobtainable, then I eventually reach the point mentally where I have to get rid of it because there's an empty spot that can never be filled, and the book is always closed. So, Morgan dollars. You ain't getting that $18.95 ever. Get rid of it. So.
But we all know that in the Kiss world we can't have everything, and we know the biggest Kiss fan period is Gene Simmons, and even Gene can't have it all.
Yeah, no.
He's basically, as a fan, the biggest collection and all that. We know that he's the biggest fan and collection of everything.
I doubt he's got the biggest Kiss collection, Andy.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. I think he's got a pretty good collection of Hello Kitty shit, but in terms of the stuff that would make people, serious fans go, oh my God, I don't think so for a minute. I mean, there's the Kiss Mexico museum, and that's a pretty hardcore collection. But, there are fans who don't talk about their collections as well for obvious reasons. So no, I don't think Gene is it. So those singles, when my wife and I decided to get married, they were a perfect opportunity to unload them and finance our wedding. So, we could have the wedding that we wanted, and I could get rid of something that was taking up space and not serving my life in terms of the change that was about to happen to my life and make it worthwhile. So, that was my major downsizing. I've downsized because I've moved from Singapore to the States, from the States to back to the UK, from the UK back to the States. So things have gotten jettisoned or lost. I mean, I sold a lot of my stuff in Scotland before I went to University of Canterbury because I needed the money for the pub, to be perfectly honest.
Canterbury, huh? Cool.
Yeah, no, I did computer science there. Andy,
prog scene.
But what is it that is driving you're the one who's actively involved in downsizing? Why? What is the driver? And how do you approach choosing what you downsize?
Well, here was the thing is that it started out basically with the shed. I have to say this, I have a shed in the backyard, of course, shed, lawnmower and all that crap, crap, you get stuff. I couldn't even get in the shed. If I wanted to get the snowblower right, I had to pull everything out and get the snow, and vice versa. Keep rotating everything. And then I'm like, then when I would come upstairs to my one of my good friends, he named this place. So he's like, hey man, it's called a Kiss Palace instead of just being a Kiss Museum. He's like, yeah, call it the Kiss Palace, and it's stuck ever since. But Julian, you were here. At one point when Julian here was a couple of years ago, you couldn't even walk up here at one point. You can't even walk. You go up the stairs.
You're dodging the stairs, and for anyone who's got like a hip problem or knee problems, trying to navigate Andy's stairs up into the palace, it's like we're doing a little dance here, and we may go up, and we may be going back down on our backsides.
Yeah, and at some point, I'm coming up the stairs, and I'm basically tossing stuff on the glass, the 2 cases I had here. Actually, one of them's gone now. I actually took it apart and threw it away. It's actually gone. But it would end up just like getting at the top of the stairs and tossing stuff. And I always said, man, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to be like a hoarder of just like let stuff pile up and you can't see it. And
I wish I had a picture of me up there, you hoarder.
Yeah, and it was so bad. We're pulling stuff out. And my wife, who is a Kiss fan, and she is 4 years older than me, so I didn't turn her into a fan. So she actually, you know what I mean? So she's a fan too, and she's like, we start pulling stuff up. She goes, I didn't know you even had that. Where'd you get that? Where was that? Where was it? And I'm pulling stuff up. Well, wow, I haven't seen this since 1979 or 78, because it's just stuff stuffed in the closet. And I literally found this. I even showed it. They're not even like Legos. They're just like these little, I don't know what they call them, but they're like the little things that are kind of like Legos.
Oh, God. Kinetics or whatever they were.
Oh, yeah.
But these were like, and it says, basically you put it there, it says Kiss Die. Basically, you're supposed to be like Kiss Dynasty. And I found it hidden in the drawer. But it's so old, you know what I mean? So I started to find all these paperwork and all that. So I said, you know what? I can't walk up here anymore. We can't even enjoy it. I hate to say it in ways. It's kind of like, I don't know. All of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should just kind of unload some stuff. And, I've told some people too, is that I've worked where I work. I do printers. I've been doing printer labels for 25, it'll be almost 26 years, but the company is closing at the end of December. So on that note, on top of that, now made the decision of starting to clear stuff out, maybe a little bit better and smarter, because this gives us the chance, because Kim's sister, one of her sisters, lives in Florida, and Kim's always kind of wanted to like go someplace warmer. I'm a cold guy. I don't mind 70 and below. It's fine with me. But driving into ice and snow sucks. Come on, that does suck.
It's pretty humid there, though.
Yeah, I understand. It's pretty bad, nasty. Yeah, I've been down there. But so she kind of likes, and basically we've had medical issues, and the heat for Kim is better on her medical issues and stuff like that. So, and it is, and believe me, Massachusetts is the third worst place to live in the United States. The fourth, because you got Hawaii, parts of California, parts of New York. So New England.
Parts of California. Wow, we're moving up in the world.
You know what I'm saying? Compared to like, so, and even up in like Maine, where Kim's originally from, it's like ninth on the list, and like New Hampshire's 10th. New England and Connecticut's really expensive too. So it's not like you can just move a couple of states and stuff. So if you move to Florida, man, they do have some tax things. You don't get all that stuff too. So I mean, I could literally sell my house here. I know people get mad about manufactured homes, aka mobile homes, but if you're in a 55 plus, man, you should have some nice gated places, some nice houses. I could buy a house down there, paid off in cash with the sale from this, pay off the 2 new cars, because we both needed 2 new cars 6 months ago, which sucked. It's just the way it happened. Pay those off and still have a bunch of money in my pocket to put in away for more into my retirement fund, and basically get 2 jobs. And less Kiss stuff. No, less Kiss stuff,
Start rebuilding the Kiss collection. Yeah, it's a vicious Kiss circle.
No, because let's put it this way: manufactured homes only the average square footage is like 1,200 to 1,600 square feet. Mm-hmm. That's in total. Yeah.
I was going to say I would like to see you after living after 6 months of swamp ass in Florida, but I don't think I would want to see anyone after 6 months of swamp ass anywhere.
But if I could work at Universal Studios, man, that would be like I'd work at Universal Studios. That would be. I'm into horror. Everybody knows that too. That's even more bizarre. People are like, man, you let go of your horror stuff. I have absolutely 2 horror stuff left.
Jason Mask. 2 people pick up. Everything is gone. And what's left? I want to know what's left.
There's a killer, a serial killer. He like shakes back and forth in a chair, and there's a guy who pops his head up. So I'm keeping my Freddy. I have the original Freddy. The walking. I have the original Freddy. Basically, I think it's the first electronic thing that Spencer's usually back in the day did. The first one I'm keeping it because everybody wants it, and I'm like, nope, he's the only one I got to keep him. But other than that, like I said, I look at stuff now and go, I can part with that. It doesn't, and it's not all Spencer stuff. Everybody's like, oh, it's just the Spencer's crap. No, actually, I have a bunch of Spencer stuff that I'm keeping. I like the light up stuff. I like the stuff. It looks cool. I like some of the stuff is really cool. And of course, like Ken or you guys, especially if I went to a show in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, if I did something special at an expo, that's the stuff I'm kind of keeping. It's more of a, my history kind of thing in that way. And Kim. And there's a stuff that Kim and I have now, we got married and all that stuff. There's stuff that me and Kim did together that are not up. So even if we stay here, they weren't on the wall. Now I'm going to show you this, right? You guys, people know the story that Peter Criss basically gave Kim, not me, Kim, his Dynasty album platinum. Sorry, gold RIA album from Canada, right? He gave it to her, and it's been sitting just on the floor, like it's sitting, But he gave it to her, so we've had nowhere to put it. Wouldn't you want something like this on the wall? That's more
no.
personal
That should be on a wall by itself.
That's the point. We don't have more room. I mean, it's gone from this stuff downstairs. There's a front room, as you know, Julian. There's a front room. It got loaded even twice as much. We said we were going to keep the living room Kiss kind of free. Nope, this stuff is piled in the living room. It's everywhere. And
so Kiss is like sewage that seeps everywhere.
So you're pulling an ace freely there. At least you're not putting it in your bathroom underneath the sink there, like how he tossed that. We've never done this book there, or when they did that interview with Three Sides, and they said that he had all his gold records, and they found them in his bathroom, like all on the floor. They said, I'll get around to it.
Yeah. Ken, I want to ask about downsizing. I want to ask Ken something, because Gene Simmons Auctions has kicked off in the past week. So what happened was Gene sold his mansion and we've talked about this on the show, in Los Angeles or Beverly Hills, wherever it was, and was intending on moving to Vegas. And all his stuff's been sitting there, because he's, I guess, flip-flopped on where, he's actually going to be going. I don't pay attention to these people's private lives, so I'm sure someone knows exactly where he is, but I don't give a shit. So some of the stuff's been put on display in the new Kiss Museum at the Rio, which is next to Kiss Golf, Monster Mini Golf, which is really fun. You should always do whenever you're in Vegas. That's a free advert, Gene. I'm clearly not learning anything. So he started listing things. A lot of it, we'll get Ken's opinion, but quite a few of the items are, relating to the final two shows. Bid on the final bases, the final torches, and I think that's a really good idea, to let those high rollers fight it out amongst themselves, and then Gene doesn't have to say, I want 40,000, 50,000. Let the market decide, and then he's not the bad guy for someone spending $100,000 on a used sword. But Ken, what do you think of the Gene Simmons auctions? G-Bay.
G-Bay, that's a good one.
I did not make that up. I just lifted that from Christine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that, he's going to, I guess, part with some of this stuff. Some of the things they're interesting, his notes, his drawing, and that you see that thing, and his cowboy boots or whatever, that he's worn. Things they're interesting, but there's nothing there, at least right now, that I see and I was like, yeah, I have to have that, or I want to bid on that. There's stuff that, I could bid on something, but it's not exciting enough for me to, go after it. I don't know what those, tapes are going to do. I know that he's going to be putting out some of his demo tapes.
Might want to rethink
cassette
that.
Tapes and stuff. I don't know how that's going to turn out. But he put there's a Hotter Than Hell album, right? It says, it is a cut corner. It says it might be a promo, but it's sealed. It's like, well, usually if it's sealed, probably not.
Does it have a UPC label on the back suggesting that it's an 80s reissue?
They
all
say
that
it's
shit.
A blue label.
How would they know that if it's sealed?
Well, probably based on the catalog number of it. But so things like that. But nothing has. I mean, there may be some point where I'll see something I might want to bid on something, but I'll probably get outbid anyway.
Those bids right now are stupid money. They're literally the same.
Oh yeah,
but
some of it's crazy. So,
what do you think about the stickers? Because that was one of the things that was a point of contention, and I was like, I got all offended.
Don't put a sticker on it.
Oh, defacing items by putting a sticker. I mean, if you have vinyl, you have to sell it as a sticker on label, and that's an automatic markdown in price on most items. And he's putting these stickers on some of the stuff.
Gold stickers.
And, opinions do vary on the board. Some people say, I like it because that means it's from Gene Simmons' personal collection, and it's not the same as your off-the-shelf kind of collectibles that anyone can get on eBay or Discogs or anywhere else for that matter. But he's also signing things. which a lot of serious collectors hate. A super rare item being signed, and again, some others love it. But he signed an Eric Carr drum skin?
Yeah, that was kind of weird in that case, him signing that. Yeah, it's a drum skin that Eric Carr would have used on his drums. But, I don't have a problem with signing his signature on things. I'm not one of those that would... I think it's cool that his signature is on it, on certain things. But that wouldn't stop me from buying something.
$1,000 for the Alamo marching band music?
Oh yeah, there's some. Yeah. I noticed that those little Hello Kitty boots or whatever, something like that. I'd like no, I get something like that. I'm just waiting.
To each his own, though, right? To each his own, man. If you want to spend the money that you like.
Yeah, that mirror at 1,700, that mirror is badass.
Yeah.
That 1980 Australian tour one. I mean, a lot of Australian merch, as I've found out, I'm staying away from merch in general in Mascasteria. I think I've got 4 or 5 items in there. There's some cool stuff. The glow in the dark.
Yeah, the glow in the dark LP. He signed that. That's going crazy price.
That one's good. Signed.
I have that.
I don't have an issue. It ain't worth 700. Yours.
So it's. I don't think it would sell.
Sign it, Ken. Voice of Reason. $700.
Yeah. If I signed it, it would go down in price if I signed it.
First Kiss, Last Licks. I mean, at $275, that's a really good price right now. I mean,
right now, yeah, it's not bad.
Are you kidding me? I saw those like at expos back when they came out. They couldn't get rid of those things.
They were
for
dirt cheap back then.
Yeah,
$25.
Yeah, back then.
Like stack loads at the expo for like $25, and the guy couldn't get rid of them. They couldn't even get rid of them. It was crazy. So I said, it's like, what? I mean, everybody can pay what they want. Everybody can like what they want. You know, it doesn't to me personally, it doesn't make you or me a bigger fan than somebody else. Just because I have, I mean, people are like, oh my God, you're getting rid of your stuff. Guess what? If I turn this camera and I show you this corner, that if we moved, right, you get those 16 by 8 by 8 pods, you know, the ones you see the commercials for. We have it marked out 16 by 8 by 8 on the floor over here to see what could fit. And if I turn my phone over here and look, I got news for you. I probably have still a lot more than some people have. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care if you have one thing or two things, because what happened in the long run, right? It's all we got into it because, I mean, it might have been a visual thing, but you stuck around because of the music, right? 50 years.
The music and the friendships.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, am I gonna get rid of the drumsticks that Eric Singer handed me at the last concert I went to? No, I'm not gonna get rid of that. Am I gonna get rid of the Gene Simmons Herco pick that he threw at me? And I got that one. No. Or am I gonna get rid of the Creatures of the Night pick from that I got back in '83? No, I'm not going to get rid of that one either. Those kinds of things are sentimental, like you said. Experience,
Those are priceless, right, Ken? Priceless.
They are priceless. Those are the priceless things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I've got that drumstick Eric threw at me. That he had played. Drumstick. Yeah, the bloody drumstick that he'd played off Gene's crotch. I mean, I've got that. I've got a set of unused Hot in the Shade picks. That Gary Corbett gave me. I've got the Kiss Dynasty sponge that you gave me.
Same here.
That's right. I gave you that.
Some things are sacrosanct. The majority of things behind me that no one can ever see because I use the fake background is, again, and I've mentioned it so many times, is my wall of photos. It's not an ego wall. It's a memory wall. I've got pictures of me and James Campion when I was in New York City, and we went out to, where Village Voice writers used to hang out, and we went out, had a fantastic meal, and then a scotch at another nice place afterwards. So memories like that. Me with band members, obviously. I've got Peter Criss's doodle pad from the Charlotte Expo right in front of me here. Those are the things. I've been talking about downsizing my collection forever now, and I've got the first batch of stuff for the the first auction that I do for the KissFAQ Live auction. It's going to have like 10, 15 items. I'm just going to start small before I start getting into stuff like Greatest Kiss LPs and Kissteria stuff. But it's I'm at that point now that it's time. I get my kicks out of this. I get my kicks. You know, I'm going to get my kicks in New York in December. Walking tour, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
A group of people going together to the historic sites in New York City. Hopefully it's not too cold.
It's December. It's New York between buildings. Of course, the wind's going to be whipping. You know what, though? I don't really care. I'm going to go anyways. I don't care if it's raining, it's snowing. I'll go anyways. I'm just... Because this is going to be...
Got a toque and you're good, right, Andy?
Yeah. I don't care. I'm just going to go like... I love the cold anyway, so it won't bother me. But here's the thing. This was probably the last time I'm going to go to New York, too. This is it. Mm-hmm. I'm not even from New York, and I know more Kiss shit than some people that live there. I don't understand why this stuff hasn't been done in years. Why does it have been books or a Facebook page with, oh, these are the spots, here's the maps and everything else? I'm surprised nobody's ever done that stuff. I always tell everybody, wherever you live, whatever state you live, why don't you do one of your own, and then maybe someday the big Facebook group get together and put them all. Oh, this is the California spots. They did this. This is the New York, or this is Ohio.
Yeah, but you did the same in California. You're like the Rick Steves of the Kiss world. You know, Andy's walking tours of historic locations in the Los Angeles area, you know, and New York. You know, you should have a book and a PBS series. You know, a walking. We're not going to the Alps. We're going to New York.
We're going to the sewer hole where Gene Simmons spit. I mean, that's the kind of weird things we would go to and stuff like that. Not just a typical, again, everybody knows we're going to go to the Dress to Kill spot. That's without a doubt. But I mean, there's a lot of spots that Kiss, again, they're missing. You know what I mean? So
you would be the perfect conductor on a Kiss tour bus. We all pull up in front of 645 Madison Avenue. You blow your kazoo and say, "This is 645 Madison, where Bill Arcoin had his offices," and we all lean out the windows, and go, "Ooh," really loud.
You know what's funny though?
Pictures.
In England, though, my friend, I do the Yes podcast as well, right? And when they did the 50th anniversary show there was actually double-decker bus tours that they were doing for significant Yes sites that were going around that week during that show. And on the Yes podcast, the guy who I do it with, Kevin, he went on it and filmed it, and it was really interesting because they went to the very first place they rehearsed. They showed like the very first club they played at, where certain band members lived. So I mean, Andy, it's a great idea, to do that kind of a thing, And
that's one of the special things about this band, is that there are those cities where you can do that sort of thing. When you go to Florida, you're not going to have that sort of.
I did one in Florida. I actually did one in Florida. I had made shirts up for a joke, and I was there, and we went to, like, I don't know, where Kiss played in arenas. I mean, you might think it's silly, but that kind of things. They went to this arena, they played here, they did this. We went to, like, the casino where they actually had Kiss slot, the slot machines, because we rented a van. Everybody pitched in, rented a van. I drove, and we just had fun, and we, played the Kiss tunes, what I was saying. I had fun, went to places, took photos and this and that. And they had the Kiss slot machines were at this Seminole Casino at the time when they very first came out, and I found them. And they, I had, a lot, you have to do research and all that kind of stuff. So it's fun. You just grab a bunch of people who just want to go fun. And it's free, if anyone wants to, just to put out there, if anybody wants to go, if you're in New York, that weekend, December 1st to December 2nd, there's 2 different tours. December 1st is a long one. We've got it broken up into 10 sections, and we're going to go up, what I call up towards Central Park. We're not going to go in Central Park because there's a ton more Kiss spots in Central Park, but Central Park is so huge, you don't realize it. But we'll get up to the end of Central Park, and there's about 50 or 60 spots. So we'll go up and then back around. And then on December 2nd, we're going to start at MSG again, and we're going to go down. And that's basically going down towards Dress to Kill that way. And it's about, right now, I have like 20 spots. But I already have the map. So it's going to go right in a row, go down, right back. And then we're going to end at, the Stout, that way we had the big gathering and hang out at the Stout there, which is right around the corner from MSG. And it's all free. I play the music. It's a bar, of course, food, and all that good stuff. And like, yeah. So anyways, that's, fun.
Andy, I got a question for you, Andy. So we all know New York City is like a significant city for KISS history. What would you say is the second most important city for KISS to do like a tour like that?
For spots that I know of, it's either, I guess it could be a toss-up. You could say Cadillac, Michigan, because they I don't know if they still do it, but they have tours. I don't know if they still do it, but I have like a booklet, and so I would imagine Cadillac. And the other place I would think would be Los Angeles, LA. But it's so many in LA, and LA is so spread out too. I must have hit me and Kim. I love her to death, and she's a huge KISS fan. But I dragged her out at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get started in a rental car. We just stop, go, video, and I was doing them live. And we must have hit about 80 or 90 spots in a like 2-day thing.
Wow.
And I'm a Wasp fan, so I did the Wasp stuff too. And but I still missed about 100 spots. I mean, there's a lot in California. Yeah, so there is a lot between LA, New York, and I would say Cadillac, Michigan would be up there too. You know, because of that show. You know, and maybe Detroit, but that's gone, right? Cobalto's gone. So I would say, yeah, I'd say Cadillac. I've never been there. I would love to get the Cadillac. That's another thing. And I have a. I know we're getting all off the topic, but I actually have, and I wanted to go before the COVID hit, and then I got sick and all. I have one. It's just Ace Frehley stuff from the Bronx and all that stuff. I must have like 50, 60 spots, and like people like don't go. And I'm like, I gotta go. I want to go. You gotta go in the Bronx. I just want to go through that Poe Park, sit there where Ace has pictures with a girl. I don't know if it was a girlfriend or a friend that's a girl, or hanging out, and it reminds me. And I just want to play Hard Times. And I don't drink anymore because I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. But listen to Hard Times and crack a drink over it and sit in that park, man, and listen to Hard Times. And I actually know where Ace Frehley. Remember, he said he was part of that gang, which was part of that movie.
Yeah.
And he would a Duck Junior or Junior Ducks.
Ducky Boys.
Ducky Boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Ace was only like a kid, a very small kid when he was into that group thing or whatever before he got out of it. I actually know where they said they used to cross the bridge to get across, and he said, "Oh man, we hope we don't get arrested by the cops." The police station is literally right there. I can understand why they would get arrested, and I would never try that nowadays because if you look up that area, and I'm not going to give it out because I want to go there first. But I have I don't know. I want to get there too before if we end up taking off, but. I don't know. There's so much great stuff. That's why I say everybody should do something wherever they live. It might not seem significant, but like even Maine, he's done stuff in Maine. They, Creatures Tour, all the tour spots, places they might have hang out. Always see silly photos of people like hanging out at restaurants and stuff like that.
Well, think of what we did when I was in New England with you. We went to Bill Aucoin's childhood home. We went to his parents' restaurant. And we visited his family grave plot, where he has a marker.
Yeah, and you believe it or not, I didn't even know until like maybe half a year before you came that his parents owned a restaurant like 5 minutes from where I work in the graveyard. Literally 5 minutes from where I work in Devens, Massachusetts. It's the craziest thing, and I didn't even find out until about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't believe it. After all these years of living around this area, and I don't live that far from Devens. I only live about like 10 or 15 minutes from Devens, from where I work in Devens, Massachusetts, and his family and everything grew up in there. So that's very strange that things are so close, but never knew.
Yeah.
Getting that good.
Young Bill Aucoin having his transmitter shut down by the FBI and FCC or something for illegally transmitting a radio station out of his basement. So
what would Ken? My question though would be, what like even Mark, man? I know Mark's the hardest thing for Mark to give away is his Destroyer collection. Mark, I guarantee, has a Destroyer collection in the back that's humongous and nobody knows about it, but he's waiting to unload it. But like. I have a hard time, even though I have a KISS pinball machine, right? I got lucky and got one. I have the KISS casket. That's something else, but that's coming with us no matter where I go because that's basically it's paid for and bought, and that's if something ever happens to me, it's being bought. But
multi-purpose.
My biggest thing, So my biggest thing is really that, and even Kim says it, is the T-shirts. I can't like that's gonna. I have like 200 Kiss T-shirts. I know it sounds crazy, but Kim's got like 150 or something like that. But we can't give away the T-shirts are the toughest things, and the posters is probably like second to me, because I think the T-shirts for me are not only, I can't see myself. I know people are, a 50-year-old guy walking around with Kiss T-shirts or band T-shirts is just goofy nowadays. But guess what? That's how I am, and that's what I do. You know, I know, but that's what people think.
Like that. I walk around with them still.
All the time, if I can. When I can, I can. Yep. Kim does the same thing. I mean, I'm not all Kiss all the time, but those are probably the hardest thing. In the posters, the second, because T-shirts and posters. A T-shirt is, to me, a T-shirt is not only just a T-shirt, but you can display a T-shirt like a poster. So that's kind of like an ultimate kind of both ways. I could never see myself without not wearing a T-shirt. So those are probably the two hardest kind of things to, like, me personally give up. But I'm looking back at some of the stuff that I haven't seen in years and going, wow. I remember I was so much into pins. The pins, pins.
Yeah.
I had hundreds and hundreds of pins, and then I traded them off for other things. So I got out of the pins, and of course patches. Then I was huge into patches in the 80s. Big batch patches. I had the jean jacket, fully loaded, and I got tons of them. And I'm like, man, I miss those kind of days too. Where it was kind of simple. I miss the simpler kind of days in ways. Kind of weird to me. It's not because of just like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Julian's food's burning in his oven right now.
Yeah.
How about you, Ken?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, my old T-shirts that I got back, at concerts and stuff like that, they're all gone. I mean, I wore them out. There were holes in them and everything. I cut off the back then I was young and wouldn't fit or whatever. But I had the sleeves cut off and all that kind of stuff back then. But so they're pretty much, they were all gone. And when you talk about posters, I'm kicking myself because there was a time in the late 80s I got rid of all my posters except for a couple of them I had, because all those posters adorned my bedroom wall and ceiling when I was a kid, my bedroom. And I had all those original, the real large ones, the extra large ones. I had those. I had all the famous. This is really the only one behind me that I really kept from all that time is the Love Gun, foil one. But I kick myself now for letting those go way back, and it was in the 80s, late 80s, I think.
Yeah, well, with me with the T-shirts, I'm like Ken. I had quite a few of them, and then of course, living in a home with like European parents, everybody who has European parents will have this happen, and you'll feel my pain. I had a Rush shirt, okay, and it was one of my prized shirts, okay, and there was a small hole, like about this big, okay, like I'm not kidding, like even like this big a hole on it. And a few days later, I'm looking for my shirt. Where the hell's my shirt? And I go down in the laundry room, and it's being cut by my mother into little pieces to use for like a rag to wash the sink.
It's become a duster.
Like, what are you doing to my shirt? Mark, that has a hole in it. How you can't wear that shirt anymore? I'm like, oh God. So I have to be very careful with my shirts from then on in to hide them, because anything with a hole in it would become a rag at one point, right?
Oh my God.
So that would if my mother saw that shirt, Andy, she'd take it and say, Andy, you can't wear that anymore.
The perfect rag.
So.
Yeah, that shirt would be a fire starter.
Right.
I got some Vinnie Vincent posters from the gathering thing. Those are good. Would.
Yeah. Oh God, don't mention that clown.
I know. We're not going to go there. But and also too, man, this house was small. When I first bought this house in 1998, it was only 920 square feet. In 2008, I took the plunge, man, and I worked hard. And believe me, I'm telling you, everybody, and I've told everybody, they go, "Oh man, you look at you must be rich. You got all this stuff." And I'm like, no. I had to work my ass off. My parents didn't give me one dime a penny, and believe me, I love my parents. My parents are very nice, and I love them very much, so I'm glad they're still around, stuff. But they didn't give me one dime. If I wanted something, I had to work for it. I had paper routes and worked in, yard work and shoveled for people. It scraped every dime, nickel thing, and if I wanted something, I had to pay for it. That's how it was And I said, when I grow up someday, I want to buy a house. I want to, do all this stuff. And then one day, when I bought the house, when I bought this house, because actually I had another house before, but that's a different story. I had to,
Don't go there.
So, yeah. So, but when I finally took the plunge to make this one bigger, it was all for the Kiss thing. So so people are out there saying, yeah. So for people out there saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're giving stuff, selling stuff," I actually turn around and say, "Well, why don't you build your house bigger and buy as much stuff as I have? Then come talk to me."
Yeah,
right?
So what? It's your stuff.
I know that, but it's weird, and I'm not even, and I haven't, as you said earlier, I'm not going up there and saying, "Hey man, this firehouse light right here that I got, I'm going to start the bidding off at $5,000." I didn't do that. I started off, and I don't care if Gene Simmons, and that's the other thing too. People, you guys know, Gene and Paul and Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick and Peter Criss, they're all selling stuff. Right? They're all selling stuff, and they're making money. But as soon as I said, I posted, "Hey, man, I might let go of stuff," people started freaking out. Like, "Oh my God, how can you do that? Oh my God, you're a huge fan." I'm still a fan. I'm still a huge fan.
And that is why I think people freak out when someone like you, who has put together amazing events, who lives with a vibrancy and a joy. I mean, I have never met someone more positive than you are 99% of the time with your outlook and fandom. I mean, real fan is a term that's thrown around flippantly, but Andy, to me, is a real fan because he celebrates the band continuously and celebrates every single aspect of them. So when you see someone like that saying, "I'm going to downsize," you're like, what the fuck's going on? Are you all right, dude? What are you... it really does have a pause when someone like that, there's very few people, on my Facebook, who, if they were to start saying they were downsizing, I would give a second glance to. But when someone like Andy does it, you're like, what? And with no agenda to be gouging people either. You're like, "Oh, I'm going to start this. All right, let's go. Blow the kazoo. It's yours." You're doing it with no fuss. You're not being a drama queen about it. Are we allowed to say that anymore? You're just being you.
I don't know. I just like I said, I looked at something and said, but again, it's not just people. Some people are like, "Oh, Spencer's crap," and I posted right away when I first started saying I was gonna. We were gonna, Kim and I, because she looked at stuff too and said, "Yeah, nah." It said, and it just wasn't just all just Spencer's stuff. If people, Spencer's crap. I got news for you. People keep saying Spencer's crap. Some of that stuff was awesome, and I still have the light up stuff. Like I said, some of the busts are very cool and stuff like that. I'm keeping. Let's put it this way, from 96 to 2000, right? It was probably the biggest Kiss merchandise released of all time, even beating the 70s. And
it was, but it was everywhere, and it was continuous, and it has never stopped since. So that's why I kind of refer to it as Spencer's crap, because nothing really caught my eye. Number one, number two, I think I've got a Pez thing up there, which I'll never sell. I will never sell. My wife bought it for me. Yeah. I mean, it has meaning, but all the Spencer stuff, and again, what people forget is every fan is different. Every fan of what's important to them, whether it's merch, whether it's music, whether it's moments, whatever, there is no wrong answer. There really isn't. And again, what makes you happy? Okay, can you afford to drop $15,000 to $25,000 on a Gene Simmons Madison Square? And they're not going to go for that low. Base. Good for you. Do you save up all year or work extra hours so that you can buy a guitar experience on a cruise when they did them? Good for you. What the hell does it matter if someone's got cassette that's super meaningful to them? Or they've only caught one pick in their life. There's no difference in any of that crap. None of it in the end matters because we ain't taking it with us. But if it brings you joy, that's important.
You brought up another just point too, is that you said that We can't take this with us. And I used to say and joke around a long time ago, if something ever happened to me, man, I would take it all to me with the grave. They could throw it in the hole with me, and of course the KISS stuff is expanded, so the hole would have to get bigger, right? But then I look at it now too is that I've had some friends pass away that are in our age group that have passed away now, that are no longer here anymore, and I have a couple more friends that are really sick too. They have, like one of my friends I've known for a long time has diabetes, and I hate to say it, he's dying a slow death now. He's literally dying a slow death, and it's tragic. And and we lost. I don't know if you remember, but Jeanette passed away from cancer a couple of years ago, and she, out of nowhere, I met her, and then we became friends, and we're on the cruise, and then next you know, she's gone. I had another old friend I knew for 30-something years. Next you know, they found him in his apartment, passed away. So now I've had about 6 or 7 people that I've known pass away, and I'm thinking, man, this is getting crazy, man, and we can't take this stuff with us. And then what happens when something happens to us one of these days, or it does, and what are you going to do with it?
It's not if, it's when.
What's going to happen? And people are like, oh, what are you going to do with it? I'll be gone. Somebody else behind me is going to have to take it. It's going to get all dispersed anyways. I have nobody to leave it to except for Kim. Kim's now is the beneficiary of everything. I have no kids and nothing like that. Anybody left my parents. I have an older brother who has no interest in KISS at all, or this stuff at all. So, I mean, there's absolutely nobody. So, like I said, man, I'd rather, at least if I'm going to release it to somebody who will enjoy it, look at it, display it, maybe crack it open. I might cry at some of the stuff if they crack it open, but if that's what they want to do with it, they can do that, right? It's everybody's. I don't know. It's like you said. It's everybody what they like. You might not like this. You might not like it, the Spencer's action figure, but I might love it. So what? It's my business. It's your business. But guess what? We all love the band for some thing, and we all love the music. And it comes down to the music. It basically going to the shows and stuff. And I'm not going to be shocked. Yep. And when I go to Madison Square Garden with Julian or anybody else that sees us can come out and hang out, whatever, you know what? I'm probably going to go to the show, and I'm going to go look at the merch stand, right? Here's a guy really recent stuff, and guess what? I will probably buy that tour book that says the 50th anniversary, because this will be the last one I buy.
Yeah.
This is it. This is probably it for me and us, and that's it. I will love the band forever. I might not like everything they do, right? We don't love everything. How can you love everything a band does for 50 years? It's impossible. You're going to have ups and downs. That's the way life is, ups and downs, right? You got good years, you got bad years. That's how it is. But in the long run, this band has made, for most of us, has made us happy for about at least 40 to 50 years, right? What bands can do that?
Well, there is one exception, of course. Rush has never made a bad record ever, so they have no bad records in my opinion.
Come on now. Come on now.
KISS, yeah, there's a couple, but not Rush. Come on.
Power Windows?
No, I love that album. Fantastic.
Under Fire?
After Signals,
it's not as
I
good
kind
as
of
Power
fell
Windows,
off.
but I love it still.
It fell off for me.
The only
after
record
Signals.
I don't like is Presto.
Oh, didn't we do a show about Presto? You and me?
Remember? Yeah.
I like
So you
Presto.
just
all the early Rush.
Mark, you just said there was no bad albums. Now you just said Presto.
Well,
Come on now.
that's the one I don't like. That's the least favorite. But still.
He's walking backwards furiously right now.
I'd rather listen to Presto than most other bands' records. Okay, Rush are here. Okay, and KISS is really close. So.
Ooh.
Well, you can't have a. I don't know. Depending on what you call like KISS cream of the crop, right? Everybody has their cream of the crop. Mm-hmm. People are born in the 70s. They're going to say, oh, man, the 70s. Some people are born in the 80s, or I knew the people who got into the KISS because of the 80s, and they don't 70s KISS.
Well, you've got two of them on this show right now who are, and I was talking on an Aerosmith podcast this week, about coming in 85 as well with that band. Again, it doesn't matter when you get on the bus, as long as you're on the bus. And it doesn't matter where you get off either, for that matter. You know, I was just thinking about the two ultimate Kiss collectibles that you can take with you. The Kiss casket seems like a good buy, you know, after all, because you can take it with you, as does the urn, you know, for that matter, depending on your preference. You know, so there are a couple of super collectibles that do make sense. But I want to end this episode about letting go with just a quick question to each one of you. Andy, what Kiss have you listened to this week?
What Kiss have I listened to this week? Wow. Let me look back. Believe it or not, let me see. Because when I started going through stuff, and I just posted yesterday, the 80s posters, I made a story about, oh my God, you know, I'm telling you, I tried to post as many posters on the wall, but there were a bunch that I still couldn't post on the walls, you know. But anyways, I posted all the 80s posters from those years, you know, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, and posting about, man, I went to those shows, right? Back then, because you couldn't bring any bags with you and nothing. You just went to, and you didn't know what kind of merch, because it's not like nowadays you could get bags and people take pictures and show you everything you can buy if you want to buy it. You know, back then you had to go there and you went up to the merch table and I would say, I want one of everything, you know? And they'd be looking at you like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I want one of everything. Are you kidding me? Yes, I want one of everything. Oh, I got to break out the calculator. They had to break out a calculator. And you like, the Hot in the Shade tour, when it came up this way, the first show, because I always buy everything at the first show you can, because you don't know if it's going to be there at the next show, you know, that kind of thing. I bought 11 T-shirts alone, and I put them on all. Wore them all the whole night, though.
Oh, my God.
Sweating their ass off.
Because I was in the second row.
Be like a freaking hot dog, can't move. Michelin Man.
Yeah, and the posters, too. So think about the posters were just rolled. They weren't in plastic. They were just rolled up. So I'm like, how do I get these not crushed? How do I get the, you know what I mean? Survive all that. Yeah. So this kind of last week, I basically listened to like, and I'm going to defend Julian. I'll tell you what you want, man. I for the 80s thing, Kiss Asylum, man. The Kiss Asylum. So basically this kind of week has been kind of like the 80s kind of thing. Asylum, you know, Animalized, that kind of thing like that. So, you know, those two were in the play this week for most part. So that's what happened to me this week. And I'll defend Asylum, man. That was a great tour. I loved it. They're all on fire. They're all running around like crazy. You know, I loved it. Believe it or not, I don't care what Gene Simmons looked like. I don't care if he looked like a drag queen. I don't care. That was probably Paul's breaking out stuff. You know, that's Paul Stanley and his whole I can go solo Bon Jovi stuff. You know, Eric Carr was awesome on the drums. Bruce finally came out more moving around as, you know, on the Kiss Asylum tour. It's seriously, and Gene, look at Gene. Gene's running around like crazy. Go look at the bootleg YouTube MSG show. Look at that show. Look at the audiences too. No cell phones. Everybody's going nuts. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Ken, what Kiss have you listened to this week? And you had lots of time to think about that.
I had lots of it was actually listening and watching. I was watching a lot of the
Rumble,
the Kiss and the Inner Sanctum concert and stuff. So I've been watching that and some other stuff around Australia. You know, that time period. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that you know, that show and how, you know, Eric Carr kind of, you know, made them come alive again. I think live in concert, they really had seemed to have more energy than, you know, of course, the Dynasty tour that came before it. So yeah, that's what I listened to this week.
Well, we're role reversal this week, Ken, because I was listening to Alive 2. Well, not specifically
really?
Alive 2, but Kiss Live in Houston 77. Both nights. The videos are just absolutely amazing, and a bootleg that came out a few years ago of those, the Supersonic is what they call Houston Supersonic versions of those, are just absolutely spectacular, powerful. You know, even for the beginning of the Super Kiss era. So I've been enjoying the living daylights out of those, repeatedly watching the shows and listening to the audios as well at the same time. Mark, what have you listened to this week?
Yeah, I've also listened to the Supersonic. I was listening to that this week as well. It sounds really good. I was very happy to get that. Also, I've been listening a lot to Creatures. That seems to be on my playlist quite a lot. Asylum, which I listen to quite a bit, it's my favorite non-Kiss makeup album. And I also listen to a lot to Unplugged this week as well. I had it on. I was downstairs in the man cave, listening to my vinyl stuff, and I pulled that one out for some reason. I just naturally just went wunk and grabbed it and just, okay, I can listen to this one. But I've been watching a lot of videos too, because my dog, he has a little bit of trouble with his back leg, and he likes to sleep upstairs now in the living room. So I sleep up there in my big lazy boy recliner, and I was watching the Destroyer, Texas. Yeah.
Houston.
The Destroyer tour.
Wow.
Yeah, Houston tour. Yeah, I was watching that, and I was also watching, because I was glad that I finally had this, the complete, including the proper encores of Cobo Hall Night 1. I watched that quite a bit. So when they come up with the Kiss was here 1 year ago, and now they sold 1 million records. Hey! They give them the records, during the encore. So I've been, watching those quite a bit. I'm for me personally, I love Kiss stuff, but what I love the most is I love watching the videos like that, the bootleg videos. I have so many of them I had on VHS behind me. They're like, Winterland and all these ones when they first got them at the conventions. And I was like, wow, look at that stuff, So I've always been a big fan of the live video part of it.
Nice. That's a good question for the audience. I mean, this would have been perfect for a live episode, but what have you guys been listening to this week from your Kiss catalog? And everyone's got their own unique Kiss catalog. What's been turning you on? You've been listening to Unmasked. You've been listening to Asylum. What's been floating your boat, so to speak? And also, have you ever let go of things? Have you ever felt the need to downsize? And what were the driving points? Save the divorce stories, because they're really a bummer. But have you ever had any other reasons to downsize your collection? And do you have any regrets, like I had, that will drive you to insanity to the rest of your days? There's still 2 items I have to recover from my early 2000s sales. So there we are. So for now, from Andy, thank you, sir. From Mark, Ken, and myself, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.